So a race car driver has to do an average of 200 kilometers an hour for this whole race, and the race is 100 kilometers long. So unfortunately for the car, it only gets 170 kilometers in the first half. So the first half is going to be 50 kilometers, right? And the second half is going to be 50 kilometers. So the idea here is that we know the total average speed has to be 200 kilometers an hour for a 100-kilometer race. So you can think about it like this. For the whole race, the delta x is 100. The distance is 100 kilometers. The time, we're not sure yet, but the speed it has to maintain is 200 kilometers per hour. So we can use these two variables with our equation v equals delta x over delta t. We can use those two together to find that the time is going to be equal to delta x over the speed, which is 100 over 200, or 0.5 hours. So the whole race has to take place in half an hour. And this whole race, delta t, is going to equal to the time it takes for the first half plus the time it takes for the second half. So we're going to add those things together. Let me rewrite that and just say, so delta t total is going to equal delta t for the first half plus delta t for the second half. So it's going to be a combination of those two things. So what it's actually asking us for is what's the average speed for the last 50 kilometers, okay? That's what we want to know. So we're interested in the average speed here. So we're going to break this down into the first half and the second half, right? The first half we know is a distance of 50 kilometers. So I'm going to write my variables. You're going to see me do this over and over again. Just list my variables and figure out which of these do I know, and which of these do I not know. So the question tells us that for the first half, it only averages 170 kilometers per hour. Okay, so once you know, if you've got a three variable formula like this, and you know two of the variables, you can always find the third one. So delta t is just equal to delta x over v, which equals 50 divided by 170. And doing the math on your calculator, you'll find that to be 0.2941 hours. So the first half, so this is delta t1. Delta t1, the first half takes that long. So combining this with this, I can put those two together and say 0.5 is equal to 0.2941 plus delta t2. That tells me how long my second half takes, and doing that math, we get 0.20588 hours. Okay, now, looking at the information for the second half, we know it's 50 kilometers. We now know the time is 0.20588 hours. So now it's a simple matter of using delta x over delta t. So this equals 50 divided by 0.20588. So my speed in the second half of the race works out to, I think, 243 kilometers per hour. Okay, so I guess the main thing to keep in mind here is that it's a bit of a puzzle. You just have to fit the pieces in wherever you can. And you don't always know where you're going when you start, but if you keep in mind the whole picture and keep in mind your formulas and apply those correctly, you can find the answers.